Hi, my name is Damon Brown, and we're talking about bringing your worth. You can learn more about me at damonbrown.net or take my resource quiz. It's a free quiz, super short, over at buildfromnowquiz.com. Today we're talking about this excellent meme that I found from Pool House, New York, and it says, "You can accept what is while working to change." Thanks again to Pool House New York. You can find more about Pool House New York at the links that I provided. Now, what's interesting about this is that we don't actually know what's going to happen next. We don't know how to make the most of it. We don't know what's going to be revealed. Therefore, all that we have is now. With my coaching, I do a lot of one-on-one coaching in the business space, particularly for non-traditional entrepreneurs, the side hustlers, the solopreneurs, a lot of you folks out there that are listening. The biggest challenge that I see with a lot of us is that we can mistake accepting how things are with giving up. In other words, if you're in a situation that you don't like now, financially, emotionally, even physically, and you're like, well, this is my situation, this is what is, this is the reality of it. Sometimes we can mistake that for saying that we're not going to do anything about it or that we can't do anything about it. We mistake that for giving up hope. But they're really two different things. The thing is that when we actually accept where we are, then we begin to have gratitude for what we do have, because we have a kind of like a sound check on reality. Now, when we actually have that gratitude, then we start to open our eyes into things that could be better or more insightful, things that can actually open doors. As that old saying goes, when a door closes, then another window might open, or something to that effect. I think I screwed up the cliche, but you understand what I'm trying to say. And so when we're tied up in how rotten our current situation is, that's all that we see, because we accept that as a reality. But when we actually say, this situation sucks, and there's some good stuff that's coming out of it, and there's some lessons that I can learn, then suddenly the things start to shift. Suddenly the energy starts to shift. And suddenly you start to have gratitude for where you are. And once you start to have gratitude for where you are, then you start to see opportunities. And once you see opportunities, then you can actually change your situation. So it's a certain kind of amount of irony with that, where you have this opportunity to actually accept where you are, which feels like giving up. But in reality, you're actually opening yourself up to these great opportunities because you're being grateful for who you are, where you are, and what you represent. I understand this personally. I've been an independent creator, as a public speaker, as a journalist for a couple decades now, as a self-published author, a couple bestsellers on my belt, as a entrepreneur twice over. And for each of those moments, there was what they call a valley of doubt, and not being sure if I'd be able to achieve, to get my particular app out for my startup, to finish this book that my first major book took 5 years, and I was still in my 20s. So to get that book out, and there were these periods of time where things were very uncomfortable. But the thing was is that in me accepting that things were uncomfortable, it actually allowed me to understand those particular things that I was supposed to learn at that period of time. For instance, again, for my first major book, I spent 5 years on it. In those 5 years, then I learned about getting an agent. I learned about traditional publishing. I learned how to make money and fund a book that I hadn't gotten money for yet because the book wasn't done. I learned how to interview subjects. I learned how to write longer, etc. If that happened as quickly as I'd like it to, which I thought I'd have a book out in 2 years, silly me, it took 2.5 times that. But because I actually accepted the process, I learned all the things that allowed me to be working on my 25th book today. But if I didn't accept where I was, then it would be a pretty frustrating and confusing time. So again, the quote, which I absolutely love, is, "You can accept what is while working to change." Again, it's from Pool House, New York. I shared it on my Instagram over at Brown Damon on Instagram. If you want to get more gems or insights like this, feel free to, number one, take the resource quiz, which is based on my upcoming book, Build From Now, How to Know Your Power, See Your Abundance, and Nourish the World. It talks about the 4 different resources. Sorry for my aunt. 4 different resources. You have focus, agility, time, and energy. All of us have that, but there are different levels depending on where we are personally and professionally. And with this book, I talk about the different resources that you have at the moment. If you take the quiz at buildfromnowquiz.com, then you'll get a leg up for when the book comes out on January 28th, 2021, and you'll be able to get those insights immediately because I talk about the different resources, how you can maximize them. Number two, if you want to go even deeper, feel free to check out my website at damonbrown.net. I do one-on-one coaching. I have a column with Inc. magazine that's connected on there, and I'm always doing podcasts and even have some free keynotes because I'm a regular keynote speaker. My keynotes, almost all of them are available for free through damonbrown.net and through this very YouTube channel. Anyway, hope things are well. Hope this gives you some good insight. And remember to bring your worth and that you can always build from now.